Mad day yesterday. Premier League football, man. Seriously, we're in the final stretch. No more international football after this. This Easter break will be the last time we have internationals until the summer, which obviously is the Euros. But I'll make it a nice and quick one. Newcastle versus West Ham. That was from St James's Park yesterday. Probably game of the day for me. Newcastle down to 10 men. Very late on, but they'd already had the match wrapped up and won. They were 3-1 down against West Ham when West Ham came to visit. West Ham took a 2-goal lead. Jared Bowen getting the third of those in the second half, early in the second half. And then Newcastle just had a rally and a comeback of all comebacks, to be quite honest. And Harvey Barnes was pivotal to that. Excellent when he came on. And that was with an injury to Almiron as well. So I think Harry Barnes has played himself into the next 11 when Newcastle play again midweek. But 4-3 to Newcastle from St James's Park. Really good result for them, as they obviously are in a hunt for a European place this season. I think that's taken them up to 8th now. So they're right back in a hunt. West Ham still sort of in and around the area as well. I think they are 7th, something like that. Because they were on a decent run of form before then as well. But yeah, absolutely capitulated late on in the second half with all that pressure. Newcastle were piling on. Chelsea 2, Burnley 2. Can we call that a shock? Probably not. Stamford Bridge, Burnley do tend to go there and play quite well there. I remember when Burnley actually went there after Chelsea had won the league 5 years ago. This would have been now, I think. And they beat them 3-2, 3-1, 3-2. Soundly as well. Like, took a 3-0 lead. Absolutely put them in a spliff and smoked them. 2-2 this one. Chelsea took it, taking a 2-goal lead. Sorry, no, they didn't. They took a 1-goal lead and were pegged back each time. Cole Palmer on the score sheet twice in that one. Burnley obviously still fighting for their lives at the moment. They need wins though. Draws aren't going to do it for them, especially with the position that they find themselves in currently. But at the moment, every point helps. I say that for Sheffield United as well. They were at Bramall Lane. They have let another 3-goal lead slip, and this time it's against Fulham, who are in decent form themselves. Sheffield United, they got no problem scoring goals. They do that quite well. They can't keep them out the other end though. That is their Achilles heel. Another 3-3 draw, another home draw. It's a tough one for them. I still see them going down, but they're giving it a go. They are giving it a right go, but they cannot close out games. They can't shore anything up at this moment in time. And Fulham capitalised. A little bit of controversy with regards to the referees yesterday. Chris Wilder would not be put into conversation with regards to those referees, but where they got 14 minutes added on time from, I will never know. And I'm guessing that's what the grievance was, but he wanted to keep his comments to himself, which you can't blame him, because obviously he'd get a fine if he was to say anything out against these officials. Another draw, Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 1. That was from the City Ground. Again, one of those games where I thought Crystal Palace might nick something, but Nottingham Forest at home, they're fighting for their lives as well. It was always going to be a tight affair, and it proved, to be quite honest. Palace taking the lead there through Mateta, and then obviously Nottingham Forest coming back into the game with a very good goal from Chris Wood, who's in really good form this season. Done really well. Bournemouth 2, Everton 1. Everton slumped again to another defeat. Dominic Solanke on the score sheet here for Bournemouth. This is his first goal in 4 games, I believe, so I think that's his 14th Premier League goal of the season as well. Bournemouth back to winning ways after not winning the game in their last 3. So good to see them back up and running. I think they've pretty much saved themselves this season as well with regards to Premier League status next season. They've reached that 38-point mark. I think 38 points will be enough to stay up this year, and Bournemouth have literally just reached that. Everton still fighting, still sort of bowed down in the bottom 4. Terrible day at the office for them. And they need to pick up wins fairly soon. Their fixture list does not get any easier, which we'll obviously get into in a moment. Off to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, my beloved. We do like to make it hard for ourselves. Let Luton take an early lead, which is pretty much what we've been doing with everyone this season, to be quite honest with you. Giving you an early lead and then showing you, hey, look, we can get back into the game and winning it. Another 3 points for us. Tightening our grip on 5th, of course. I think top 5 is going to be enough to get you a Champions League place, but I want 4th. I want us to be above Aston Villa. We ended up being 2-1 winners here. Heung-min Son on the score sheet once again. Goal number 15 of the season in the Premier League. 3 only behind Erling Haaland. Speaking of Aston Villa, they won 2-1 in their Black Country derby at Villa Park. 2-0, Moussa Diaby on the score sheet there, and I think John Duran got the second. Wolverhampton, though given a really good account of themselves, have no finishers. Cunha, obviously a big miss. They've got a lot of endeavour, Wolverhampton. They do play a lot of good things, but a goal scorer will probably be top of the agenda come the summer, which I'm pretty certain they'll get one over the line, because they do need it, to be quite honest with you. They do create a lot of chances, but their conversion is so low. And that's what cost them, I think, at Villa Park yesterday. Brentford won, Man United won. A tale of two very late goals. A very terrible match in general. I thought Brentford were actually very good. Man United were very average. United taking the lead in the 96th minute through Mason Mount, his first goal this season. Brentford then equalising 4 minutes later in the 99th minute through Aya. Very good finish as well. Finished out like a striker. Good work from Tony beforehand for the assist, and Aya just slotted it home in the 99th minute. And there was still time for them to go and win it, which they didn't get, unfortunately. But 1-1 draw. Brentford won, Man United won from the G-Tech Stadium. That was Man United dropping points in the race for Champions League spot. I think they're pretty much out of it now. I think the last two spots will be Aston Villa and Spurs. It's just a matter of who finishes 4th and 5th out of those two. Liverpool 2, Brighton 1. Now, I sat down and watched this game yesterday, and I thought it was a very good game from start to finish. Very end-to-end. Brighton taking the lead in the first minute through Danny Welbeck. Liverpool coming back into the game with a Luis Diaz strike, and then obviously Mo Salah, who had about 8 shots in the game yesterday as well, getting on the score sheet too, to make it 2-1 to Liverpool. And it was pretty much plain sailing for them after the second goal went in. Brighton pretty much blown out once that second goal was in, wind out of their sails. Didn't really have much more of an attack thereafter, and Liverpool managed the game quite well. Alexis McAllister was brilliant as well, by the way, yesterday. Man of the match performance, and very worthy of that. And then the last game, which was from the Etihad, Manchester City versus Arsenal. So I had a Man City win for this one, based on the fact that they haven't lost there this season in the league. I think the only team to win there is actually themselves, Manchester City. So I thought Arsenal going there would always be an uphill battle. So it proved a little bit. Arsenal, I thought, gave a decent account of themselves. I don't think they actually went there to go and win the game. They definitely went there not to lose it, for sure. They did obviously sit quite deep when they could. And then obviously tried to hit Manchester City on a counter, who had about 72% possession of the ball yesterday, but couldn't finish themselves. I thought Erling Haaland, I think Roy Keane said it best. Erling Haaland is a very good finisher, probably one of the best in the world, but he plays like a League Two player. Yeah, I mean, some debates about his natural ability, holding the ball up. He doesn't really do that enough. Doesn't really create space for anyone else to kind of run into. So I kind of understand where the criticisms come in for him. But yeah, it was one of those games where defences were on top. Kevin De Bruyne couldn't sort of conjure up anything magical. So I think the draw is probably the best result for both of these teams. It suits Liverpool down to the ground. Liverpool go top of the Premier League at the moment now, and that is where they'll stay until midweek. And we have a host of midweek games before the weekend. So I'll do the midweeks, and then obviously on probably Friday, or maybe early Saturday morning, I'll give you a new video. But we've got tomorrow, Newcastle versus Everton. That is from St James's Park. That's a Newcastle 2-0 win for me all day, every day. Nottingham Forest versus Fulham. That is from the City grounds. I'm going to go with a Nottingham Forest. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to go with a draw on this one. 1-1. I think that one will finish. Bournemouth versus Wolves from Turf Moor. Tough one, because Burnley are scoring quite a few decent goals at this moment in time, and they have a steeliness about them. I do think Burnley will still go down. Wolverhampton do travel decently as well, but have lost their last one out against Aston Villa, as we discussed before. I will probably go with a 1-1 draw on this one as well. Tomorrow, in keeping with the theme, Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. That is from the Seaside, the Vitality Stadium, of course. I will go with a Bournemouth win here. I think this will end up being 2-1 to them. West Ham versus Tottenham. This is obviously the last game tomorrow evening, the final sort of late kickoff, if you like. 8:15 kickoff, that is. That's from the London Stadium. A nice derby there. West Ham's cup final, usually. I think we go there. I do think we get a result. 1-1 draw. Wouldn't be surprised if we were to take all 3 points from West Ham, but it is one of those games under the lights anything can happen in this one, to be quite honest, and it depends what Tottenham show up, to be quite honest with you. But I am going to go with a 1-1 draw on this one. I don't think we'll lose the game. I think we'll pick up a point at least. Wednesday, we are going to the G-Tech, Brentford versus Brighton. That's got a draw written all over it. I will go 1-1 there. Arsenal versus Luton, that's from the Emirates Stadium. I'll go with an Arsenal win. I think they'll beat Luton 2-0. Manchester City versus Aston Villa. That is from the Etihad Stadium. I do see Aston Villa coming unstuck there. I do see Manchester City scoring a couple. I will go with a 2-0 win, Manchester City. And then we've got Thursday, Liverpool versus Sheffield United from Anfield. Formality result. Liverpool will win that 3-0 for me, I think. And then the big one on Thursday evening, 8:15. That will be Chelsea versus Manchester United live from Stamford Bridge. And that match could be anything, to be quite honest. I will probably go with a 2-2 draw, as none of these two can defend to save their lives. And that is my roundup for now. The next time you see me, it might be on a Friday. I think it could be on a Saturday morning, though. And it will be right before the Crystal Palace Manchester City game, which is live from Selhurst Park, 12:30 kickoff. But for now, enjoy your bank holiday. Eat as many eggs as you possibly can. And I will talk to you in a couple of days.